I'm going to put you back here just for a second. All right. We're good? We're good to go?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome. I am Judge Odward Frinry. I will be running Dusk City Outlaws today. We will be doing the canal job. Your cast of characters is Blaze Masterson playing Minerva Frost, the Gravedigger Brawler. When we first see her,
she is the very picture of gothic allure, if you can believe that. And she has her black hair tied back in a ponytail, dark, heavy makeup, with a pale face. Her hands are wrapped in boxers bandages. She's working out. Obviously, she's kind of flexing all her muscles and punching and punching and punching. There is frost coming out of her mouth. Her breath is sort of frosting in the air. And as the camera zooms out a bit, you see that the punching bag she has been using is in fact a corpse hung up on a hook. And a letter then slides under the funeral parlor door, and that's the beginning of this little adventure.
Very nice. We also have Universal as Gildenkrantz the Splendiferous, a mummer thief, and I believe in the same scene we have Bloody Teddy as Richard Valois, the Vesper Grifter.
Yes, so we smash cut to my big clown face.
I'm also a clown because.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just to dress up the
Two
same.
clown faces. And essentially, I am entertaining the crowd. Teddy, you are.
I'm coercing them to give us more money.
Very nice. And finally, we have Veer Seraph as Henry Bautza Chan, a Red Lotus Society alchemist.
And you're just in the middle of a very busy street in Little Town, and you sort of follow the crowd into this nice tea shop, and the camera just kind of follows us over, going back to a back room above a flight of rickety stairs, and above another flight of rickety stairs, where you see a man hunched over a desk, surrounded by different jars and bottles, and one of them just starts ominously smoking.
Very nice.
I decided to redo it.
So, the letter that Minerva Frost received was one that also the others received, which called all of our characters to the slums of New Dunhaven. And in the slums, they go to the apartment of a man named Yellow-Toothed Cyrus. And Yellow-Toothed Cyrus is a member of the Forgotten Cartel. And his apartment, he refers to as the Web. He has strewn all over it notebooks, papers, parchment, all plastering the wall with various notes connected by strings, and it's a pretty dingy place, even for the slums. Cyrus is rather beggar-looking. He's got his clothes are mostly rags. The Forgotten is another cartel. They are basically the beggars, the dredges of society who have fallen and resorted to crime as well. And he's very dirty and filthy, and surprisingly, has yellow teeth. So
now, can I ask a brief question?
Yes.
Number one, I guess we could think about these guys as the Baker Street irregulars, the street urchins that Sherlock Holmes employs.
That would be a great way to think about them.
Okay. Number two, does Yellow-Tooth Cyrus have a brother named Bluetooth?
Of course.
Thank you.
Can we get in contact with him? Can we get a connection?
It depends on how close you are.
Yeah.
Your field only.
That is your up to you and what you do.
Yeah, if you're about 30 feet away, you can talk to him.
So Yellow-Tooth Cyrus motions you all in to have a seat. He ruffles some papers.
I bow
And-
low with a flourish.
He is not used to being bowed at, and he sort of backs up, but then is like, okay, and nods. Says, "Welcome." So I don't know if you've heard, but it's time for the quarterly transit of the city's taxes from the Grackenwald Depository to the Royal Treasury. Now, I happen to have found out through my infinite web of connections the exact day that this transfer is taking place. The Grackenwald Depository, as you of course know, is one of the city's treasuries. They will be using a heavily defended and armored gondola to transport in 4 days the city's quarterly tax collection to the royal treasury in the palace. It's normally a closely guarded secret as to when this happens, but when you work with Yellowtooth Cyrus, you get information no one else has. So I did not explain. I will. The way this game is set up is it's meant to be something you can pull off the shelf and play with no preparation. I told you earlier that you don't have the character progression that you would in other RPGs, where you get better and better and better as you play and gain experience. The experience that you will gain in this is basically sort of represents your connection to your cartel and your renown. So as you do more jobs and gain experience, you become more and more famous as a criminal, and XP can be used in future scenarios, and it's sort of a group resource. But so your rewards for this, he says, if you successfully steal the tax money transfer in transit, then I assure you that each of you will make quite a name for yourself, and we might have more work for you down the road. If you are able to bring the gondola intact with none of its guards back to a warehouse that I have set up in Greywater, then you'll get you'll earn some extra respect with the Forgotten, and we'll be sure to remember you in the future. You can also prove yourselves even worthier if you do not raise any alarms regarding the theft until after the delivery is made to the Royal Palace Treasury. And finally, if you do not kill any members, any agents of the Crown in this process, then we will know that you are definitely the ones to come to in the future. Do you have any questions?
And you're sure of your facts for our nefarious acts?
How big?
So you mean
that's
the
good
time
memory.
frame?
Time frame,
yeah,
I'll ask
well,
about guards too.
All right, this transfer will be happening 4 days from now. That is an undisputable fact.
Okay. What's the situation like with the guards on the gondola?
Well, normally, with a job like this, the gondola is going to be an armored one, which of course means it will be alchemically treated so that it is almost impenetrable except through the main door. And the gondoliers for the job will always be extremely thoroughly vetted by the depository before they're hired to make the transfer. And of course, you wouldn't send it without some guards. And I believe I have heard that there is a private detective agency that has been hired to guard the transfer.
So these aren't like city guards who will be on the gondola?
The ones on the gondola will not be city watch. Obviously, the path between the depository and the royal treasury will go through some major areas, so there will be, of course, city watch on normal patrols. But I do have it on very good authority that a private firm has been hired to guard the transfer.
And we don't know the name of this private firm?
I can probably tell you. I believe they have retained the services of the Dredger Detective Agency.
Good name.
Do we have any information about the gondolier?
I do not know if the gondoliers have been hired yet, because that would be an internal matter with the depository that I unfortunately do not have people who can get me that information. I know a lot of this basic information because it's how things are normally done, but I do not know their timetable other than that they will be moving in 4 days.
This gondola, do you know, is it going to be a private ship? Do you know where it'll be launching from?
It will be leaving the Brackenwald Depository.
No, like before that, where are they getting this gondola?
Oh, I see. I do not know. It's possible that the dredgers have a contract and will be providing the gondola themselves. But I do not know, other than that it will come from one of the private piers in the docks.
Excellent, thank you.
So generally, I'm not gonna. I might answer a couple more questions. But most of the information that you would normally find out, you have to do legwork to do. So if you want to ask me one more thing, I think Cyrus might give up something else. But other than that, you're going to have to go scouting out in the city and see what you can dig up.
Can I change my car though? Because it's all to do with nobles, and I don't think we're gonna be interacting with all nobles.
I mean,
I'm going to say no. You cannot change your cartel, and I am going to wink at you and tell you that there is a reason I'm saying no.
I think the family would be a pretty good one to switch to, but let's.
No, I bet there is like some noble. I bet a noble is involved in like possibly involved in the private detective agency. B, I bet a noble will be handy during this. I'm willing to bet that.
And I am not going to say no to that.
I like his winking. Thank you, Odd. Good winking.
All right, so if you do not have a final question for Cyrus, we will go into the first planning scene, which will not count against your day and night segments.
Do you know anyone in the private agency that are doing the security? Do you know any names?
I do not, but I could put you in contact with someone who could give you some more information about the dredgers.
Okay.
Thank you, Cyrus. And then I slap him on the shoulder, like, ha, thanks, bud. And then like a huge cloud of dust comes off him, and I like look at my hand and I'm like, and I wipe it off on Blood Ted's character, the noble.
Right.
A squeamish gravedigger. Interesting.
I say,
who had been busy punching corpses? Jesus.
But washed her hands.
Yeah,
dirty.
absolutely. She's
Was
very You have to be
Boxing
hygienic
gloves.
because otherwise you die. Like that's the thing. You have to, because otherwise I'm catching the plague left and right. So
All right, so
I
I'm going
tip my
to.
hat to him and I say, "No alarms will be raised, lest our bottoms be braised."
I
Killing
like
it.
where this is going.
I
Killing it,
just
Universal.
nod at you and leave.
So just mechanically pulling back the curtain a bit, he has told you that this will happen in 4 days. What that means is that we will have 4 days of 2 segments. On the final segment on the 4th day, you will need to do the job. This is not a job that you can pull off early. You can set up things in motion early, but the transfer will not happen before the second segment of the 4th day. Again, you can have as many of those segments dedicated to planning as you want. Those will be 15 minutes timed. Otherwise, they will be legwork segments. And you get your first 15-minute planning session now. And this does not count as one of the 8 segments that we will be going through. I will do my best to keep a timer somewhat visible. I have a Google timer set up, and I am going to make. Whoa, God!
It's
I was
okay.
holding control down while I did that. I'm going to make this timer update every minute or so.
Okay, so I would like to start the planning, you guys.
Let's
It
do
sounds
it.
to me, so it sounds to me like we're not going to be able to block off the end of the route because the end route is the palace itself, right?
So
So
the thing
probably
Okay,
is,
so
can't
I'm
shut
starting
that
the timer now.
Yes, please.
go. So the thing is, if the gondola is coming from somewhere in the docks, the society has really strong connections with the docks, so I could go and see if we could sabotage it or kind of like put a back door in or just do something.
Well, what I would really like to do, kind of my thought is that I intercept them as a plague doctor, right? I
Mhm.
borrow one of my friend's plague doctor masks. I intercept them along the way, tell them that this whole area has been locked down for quarantine along the route, right?
Mhm.
Then we like while I am engaging in like a medical, while I'm pretending to check them for diseases and stuff, we substitute a different gondola. We get them to get on a different gondola, a gondola that perhaps we borrow from our noble friends,
Good buds.
and that our alchemist are
Mhm.
on board treats in the same alchemical way to make sure it's impregnable, and then we just drive off with the other gondola,
I
with the
mean,
gondola with all the money on it.
I would definitely should be able to transmute the appearance of something to make it look like something else. I realize it's very general, but I have a very general skill set, you see.
So
I've got a very general skill set, and it makes me a nightmare for people like you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna butt in and say that it might behoove you to also think about spending your first segment gaining more information about the specifics of the job.
Yeah,
Because some of the things you learn may change what you want to do as your final plan.
we should. I totally want to go snooping on the docks
yeah,
and just find out more about like if any of the dock workers have seen the hired guards coming in and out or anything like that. Because they've got to be prepping the gondola.
Yeah, we need to learn as much as we can about the gondola that we're going to be absconding with in order even just like if we were to continue with this plan, just to make sure that we could accurately replicate it, right?
Mhm.
So we need to find out everything we can about the gondola itself. We need to try and find the route.
uh-huh.
Now, do we have the exact route from
No, I
Yellowtooth?
don't think so. We
How
have the start and the end point.
How exactly are we going to like make them think that the other gondola is the one that they need?
It's like I would distract them. Like again, we're just sort of looking at like a bare bones plan that will change. But I would distract them by saying like, "Oh, I need to check you for the plague, for like the double plague," and we would
Mega
get them
plague.
all off the boat, and then we would switch out the boat while they're in the plague checking.
I'm gonna interrupt for just a second. I've paused the timer.
Please do.
If you Veer and Teddy, if you look at your character sheets, your specialty sheets, you both have abilities that allow you to do something during a planning scene. Teddy, yours is not applicable right now. And Veer, yours probably you might not want to use right now, but you are allowed to. You can during
What,
the
you mean all
planning
the
scene.
explosion related ones?
during so yours is alchemy, which means during a planning scene you can create one alchemical object or compound or device. And Teddy, yours is called chameleon, and during a planning scene you can assume a different identity.
I can also have leverage.
Oh, and you can also leverage, but you have not met any characters to leverage yet. So continue.
The main things I can do is beat people up.
Minerva, can you create something that would make someone ill?
I mean, I could create something that would make someone.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit more likely. I'm good at medicine and dead people.
One of my abilities is plant. I can plant something on someone.
Okay, so I mean, I'm trying to imagine up a plausible way of making an alchemical listening device, but it's proving difficult.
I was thinking as pretext for this, plague that you're checking for.
You
if
should
you
just
could
have
make something that would make someone a bit sick.
a fancy plagometer.
Well, I mean, we could make somebody sick, or I could I could find a suitable corpse from the funeral parlor, and we could just be like, "Oh my God, this person has the double plague."
I love the double plague.
I mean, I don't know, if you gave me like a sensor for incense or something, I could probably make it so that it's smoke and, I don't know, does something weird, makes you sprout the symptoms of the double plague without actually getting the double plague. Like, double plague, or like a boil or a sore, like that nasty pus out of it, plus incense obviously equals double plague incense smoke. I mean, don't breathe it in. That would be bad. But
yeah, you really don't want pus inside your lungs. I will just vouch for that kind of from a medical perspective.
I mean, like the sort of double plague incense smoke bomb that I end up making, don't breathe it in. It'll work on everyone, right? I'm basically creating a chemical weapon for you all. It just won't kill you, it just makes you feel awful.
I can actually convince a member of my cartel to deliver a poisoned letter.
We have so much poison available.
Yeah, for real. So we need to find out, like, let's consider just our next step for now, because we've got a skeleton of a plan for the actual heist. Let's consider, because we've got several days to do this. So next steps, particularly, we're going to find out the route for the gondola. Vesper, can you handle finding the route? Can you use your nobility to pretend to be involved in this, maybe, or whatever? We need to find out specs about the gondola itself so that we can properly replicate it. What else do we need to do immediately?
I'd like to find out more about this private security firm.
Okay.
I can arrange a soiree at an elegant locale for an evening.
Oh man, imagine it, just pretend to be a fundraiser for that PI firm.
Would it?
I could
Guess
break
we
into
could
their
do
building
charity
while they're
ball.
away.
Charity ball, you need to invite some entertainment. And I don't know, if you want to serve some fine town and delicacies, could just dress up as waitstaff.
I'm sorry, hold on. I'm gonna stop you one second. I've been looking at things, and someone knows things that I forgot. So, I should tell. I've paused again. I should tell you this information. Bautza,
Yep.
you know about. Oh wait. I've already promised it, so I'm going to tell you that you do know about this. You know that armored gondolas usually have 4 armed guards stationed on the deck of the gondola, and 2 will stand near the bow and 2 near the stern, keeping clear of the 2 gondoliers. You also know that there is only one viable route for the armored gondola to take between the depository and the royal palace. Any
Ooh.
other route would wind through the city's slums, the canals of which are mostly blocked, and the treasury would delay the delivery rather than use a route through the slums. You would know that the gondola will be departing the depository at noon of the 4th day. I guess that means we only have 7 segments. At noon of the 4th day from the day the crew receives the job. And you know that traversing the entire route should take no more than an hour. I think that might
Guys,
be.
I've just
all
remembered
that
things
people
about gondolas.
Gondola knowledge.
Bing!
I think this job should be called the Great Gondola Abscondola.
You're
Okay.
working it today, Universal. Damn.
I know, it's a shame. So
So,
I'm gonna be right back again. I
cleanest
gotta
way.
beverage up. You guys
Okay.
keep planning, please.
Seems like
I mean-
the cleanest way to do things is to, is to swap out that thing before it even leaves the docks.
I mean, if there are, it's what, 4 armed guards and gondoliers. So, like 1 or 2 people top. I wonder if the gondoliers are part of the PI firm or if they're just going to hire the regular dock workers, in which case we could very easily, I mean, because the dock district is basically run by the society, could very easily get some people to.
So you do know from Cyrus's information that the gondoliers are not part of the agency, but
Yes!
they are being hired and thoroughly vetted by the depository itself.
We're good at pretending to be vetted. Let's make it happen.
Are we?
Would more
We are
generally,
like known criminals,
not
basically.
you lot, like just people from the docks.
Mm,
If they're being vetted, I wonder if we could intercept them. Lots of switcheroos happening.
Yeah. Has this already taken place? This vetting?
Cyrus told you that he did not know if they were hired yet.
Well, I mean, it's a thing we can ask about around the docks.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking, I mean, like, if the whole route should only take an hour, if they take any longer than that, they'll know something's gone wrong.
Yes.
So, if we can pull a gondola switcheroo, I feel like that might be easiest. Like, before it even leaves dock, if we can just switch out the gondola, which would be difficult because faking an entire ship
Yeah.
hard.
Not always easy. I mean, what about the route itself? Would we know if there's like, stretches off the canals that would be sort of out of sight, or harder to be, no one's going to see us if we do something on it, like swap the ships or whatever.
Hey, guess what?
What's that?
Earlier, the information that I gave to you because I was lying about what Veer knew, there's some more information that I'm not lying that she knows.
Confused.
So
I'm learning so much about what I already know.
on this route that you know is the only possible route, it will have to go through go underneath Broadwater Bridge. The Broadwater Bridge, which I'll just show you because why not? Broadwater Bridge connects the Overhollow Barony to the docks, crossing over the canals at one of their broadest points. The Broadwater Bridge is among the largest bridges in the city, rivaling those that connect the mainland to the island of Long Harbor in width. So it will definitely have to go through that bridge. So that is going to be one of the vulnerable points along the route.
Would that
There
be
may be more.
Yeah.
So I have
mean,
essentially smoke bomb. So I'm thinking smoke bomb, throw a fake gondola over, get no.
I mean, we could have a fake gondola.
Throw a fake gondola over just to pick up the other one.
Would
Pick up
we
the
be-
other one, knock out the guards, put them on the fake gondola, run.
Would we be able to have a gondola, a fake gondola, under the bridge already?
I mean, we could always just kind of stash one under the bridge, and while it passes by, sort of nab it, and then send the decoy gondola
Yeah.
out along the route. I mean,
It
like if
depends
the
how
route's well known enough.
close the guarding ones are gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, we'd also have to like take care of the 4 guards on the gondola itself.
Right. I mean, I have a smoke bomb, which would help if we decided to go punching. Could
Yeah.
also make something nasty. Because a sleep thingamajig would be ideal.
Do we know if the gondolas are alchemically protected from like poisons or whatever? Is there an inside area on the gondola? I don't know how gondolas work.
So this is an armored gondola, and there will be, which is unusual, there will be a cabin which the stuff is in.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
But what about the people?
The people, the 2 gondoliers and the you might have been gone when we talked about this. The
I
4
was listening.
the 4 guards are going to be on the deck outside of the
Okay.
cabin.
Yeah, I was listening. Whenever I leave, I unplug my headphones and I mute so that I can still hear what you guys are doing. So
Okay,
So I'm going to say you got 4 minutes left
Okay.
in this planning session. Veer, if you would like to make an alchemical object, you should figure out what that is, and you should probably each come up with an idea of what you're going to be doing during the first legwork scene.
Also, Blaze, I linked a bunch of photos of gondolas into the chat room.
Do we
Excellent,
each do
thank you.
something different?
we can, or we can double up. I think is that right, On?
Yeah.
So there will be 4 scenes, and each of you will take the lead on a single scene, and as many other people can join that person. So you can go alone. So the idea is it's like a 12-hour time span, so time is fluid, and you can be in all 4 scenes.
Okay.
Righto.
Can I
There's
make?
an idea of the gondola.
I want to make what is essentially super booze, just something that will knock someone out if they drink it, but real fast. Super booze.
All right. So you
Thinking we should somehow find out about this private agency.
Yeah.
Veer, you will also need to come up with some aspect of the super booze that is dangerous to the user.
See, I was originally going to make it like a smoke dispersal thing, so don't stand downwind of it.
Okay. So
If you
extremely
combine
intoxicating mist.
an extremely intoxicating ball of potpourri.
Okay. All
It's
right.
very carefully wrapped up right now.
All right. So during this session, you have created that extremely powerful super booze potpourri.
Yes.
Universal, you were saying something.
Was I? Okay. Let's see. So we were thinking about finding out more about the security firm. So let's see. Is there? I have a bit of, I'm a thief. I can sneak in places, etc. Is there anything to be said for me hanging around outside, waiting for an opportune moment and trying to break in?
So the thing is, you are also a mummer.
That is true.
So you're pretty. You stand out
You're
pretty
conspicuous.
muchly.
I can wear my stealth motley.
You could. You could also try to infiltrate somewhere at night.
I can come with. I can like. Can be good at an infiltration.
Yeah. Well, if we do this at night, which does sound like a better idea, we could maybe walk the canal, walk the route, see if we can
I
find
want to
any.
walk the route. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the first legwork scenes will be walking the route. You got one more minute of planning.
And one of us, I think someone should be down at the docks as well
I'm
to
going
find
to
out.
I'm going to
Oh, you're going to the docks, right? Okay.
I'm going to
Yeah.
check on the other end of the route and see what their receiving dock looks like.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay.
And so what about a fourth one? Teddy, what are you going to take the lead on?
Wait, so how does this, so a legwork scene is different from the segments
It's
we get?
gathering more information. It is going to take a little bit of time.
And the legwork and the others, so what is, what would be the infiltration
Basically,
thing?
The infiltration will be it's
the
a drama
last day.
scene, and legwork scenes can be either abstract or played out like drama scenes. Drama scenes are basically combat.
Okay. I think I will work. I'm not sure if I want to spend an influence.
Do it, baby. Do it. Uh-oh.
Big
Clock
clock.
is looming. Spend your influence. Go
I
ahead.
You are
can
out of
spend.
time.
I can spend an influence to organize a soiree to do the charity fundraiser thing for the agency and try and find out more about them.
Do it. So he's making a brunch soiree because during the
Okay.
day he's going to make for a brunch soiree and try to raise money for charity and invite members of the what's the name of the private firm? Odd?
The Dredger Detective Agency.
The fucking Dredgers.
It's actually what it says on their invite.
Dear fucking Dredgers, you are cordially invited.
We're so
All right.
dredgy.
All right. So what we will do now is y'all decide who wants to go first, and we will have your legwork scene.
Okay. Well, I suppose walking the route is relatively straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of the first because I've got to get to the other end of the route, so
Yeah.
got to
Maybe
walk
we'll
first.
meet in the middle or something like that.
All right,
No,
so-
I mean we're probably all going to be in all of these scenes.
Yeah,
more or
sure.
less.
the way legwork works is you want to describe what one thing you want to get out of the scene, where you're going to go to get it, and how you're going to get it, and who you interact with along the way. And I will tell you that if you try to get more than one thing out of the scene, then that will be harder to do.
Should we go
Right.
to the bridge?
So, like, if you
then?
try to kidnap someone and plant something in a building,
Yeah.
that would be harder to complete both.
Okay. So when we're walking the route, essentially we want to look for the most vulnerable point, possible, and work out any information about it that we can.
Okay. And you are doing that, and is anyone going with you?
I am.
Yeah.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
So
Yes, I'm going to.
it's essentially walking along and looking out for interesting places and maybe talking to people along the way. And I'm a personable person. I can just walk up and start a conversation, and
You're doing the tourist thing, my god.
yeah.
That's adorable.
All right. So,
I'll point to the bridge
if you
and
are
be
going
like,
to
"Oh,
walk
it's a
the
shame
route,
they're gonna have to destroy that unless we collect money for no."
So Minerva and Gildenkranz are going to walk the route. So I assume you're starting at the beginning?
Yep.
It's a very
At
good
the
place to
Grackenwald
start.
Depository.
Mhm.
So here we have the Grackenwald Depository. This is a privately held bank that consists of a treasury building. It is a fortress-like building that is defensible as any castle. and attempting to gain access to the gondola or the taxes while they are still inside would require more time, preparation, and manpower than the time limits of this job allow. And you can tell this as you get to the depository just by looking at the building. This is like, oh, we can't get it in
Right.
there. So this one, as you arrive at the depository, you look at the people who are going in and out of it, and you see that it's mostly wealthy merchants and nobles, and it looks like pretty large transactions are going on in this place. You do know, obviously, that the quarterly taxes are being collected here, and then they will be delivered. So when you arrive at the depository, what do you do?
Let's see. So
You're-
if this place
You're
is
standing at the entrance.
that ridiculously impregnable, I mean, I'm always doing my mummer shtick, but if this place is as impregnable as it looks, then I guess I will carry on to the next area where it seems like there could be some sort of weakness, some sort of opportunity.
How are you going to find the next area?
We're looking for somewhere that is out of sight from the public, as much as possible. Somewhere quiet, somewhere dark, like under a bridge.
Somewhere intimate.
Intimate.
But so what I'm asking is, how are you going to get from here to there?
Oh, I mean, can we not just walk alongside the canal? We know the route.
You
Right?
do know the route, but would you like to investigate? You're looking at a building right now. Would you like to investigate the building and see? I mean, they might have to transfer things 50 yards to the gondola.
Yeah. If we could look at where the if there's an area where things are loaded, then certainly we'd want to.
Okay, so you're looking for a loading dock.
Yeah.
Loading area, sure.
So you walk around and you see on the backside a little ways away there, it looks like a private canal entrance that runs through a secure checkpoint into the side of the treasury under a little tunnel under the sidewalks. And just by standing there and watching it for a few minutes, you can see there might be some people who look like they're sort of watching it at all times. But it definitely looks like if a secure transfer is going to be made, this is where it's going to leave from. And while you are there, just walking around, listening to people, you overhear the name Phineas Copperleaf.
Phineas Copper. Okay. Now, do I?
People seem to be talking about him, some in distressed tones and some in normal tones.
Is there any way to get up closer and hear the context of what they're saying?
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. You should have all generated some heat, so I'll do that. So, would you would like to go up to somebody?
Yeah. Maybe in my. Maybe this seems a wee bit too loud, but I'd rather sort of snoop and overhear what is being said than ask directly.
So
All
you're
right.
trying to unobtrusively juggle.
Okay. So you're
The
you're
crusher
standing
block.
there juggling, standing there juggling, and you see some people go by, and you overhear one say, asking one of the guards outside, Where's Phineas Copperleaf's office? I have some of my county's taxes to turn in.
Okay.
They were supposed to be turned in last week, but my oh my God,
My
words.
auntie was sick.
The person who works for me
Employee.
did not do it.
Okay.
Dropped the ball.
Okay, so this Phineas Copperleaf guy is in charge of the tax collection then. Hmm. How can we use that? Or can we?
So that
Would I know if do the mummers have to pay tax?
everybody has to pay tax.
I could ask some of the nobles at the fundraiser.
Nice.
So I will
Concept.
say you have set out to explore the route. So you will not be able to investigate Phineas Copperleaf further right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's grand. We know the
But
name.
you have learned about the starting location. Do you continue on the route?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Could we take a note of what the sort of official treasury's boats or gondolas look like as well?
Well, so the you can tell that this is a private entrance that definitely will be used. There is not much traffic through it.
Right.
You can tell that it would be big enough for what is called a freight gondola to come out of. So those are going to be the biggest gondolas. They're usually going to be alchemically treated, and they have a big capacity.
Okay. Phew.
So Bautza has described to you the route that will probably be taken, and now that you've found the private entrance to the depository, you can continue along the route.
Yep.
And at one point, you find that you can't continue walking along the canals. And that is because you are in a place that my picture is the best picture I could get. There are no sidewalks in this area. So there is a section of canals, and it's a place in a district that neither of you know about. You've never been there, but it's a very interesting section that you can tell the canal goes through this alleyway of buildings, and the buildings are all side by side, like with no space in between them, and there's no sidewalk between the buildings and the canals, and it goes on for a little while.
Okay. And does it look like does it look like the houses are residents? Are they residences, I should say? Do they look like they're it's common for people to be looking out the windows?
So pretty much in every district, except for like the really fancy flashy ones, you're going to have a mixture of residences and places of employment. And usually people will live above where they work, unless they're like a really poor person who has to commute to work. So you can tell that these buildings look like maybe some shops and maybe collection houses and insurance parlors and maybe a bakery or two, but also it looks like the top levels might contain some residences.
Okay. I wonder if there's like an opportunity for some sort of strike from the rooftop.
I mean, it's going to be during noon, so I assume that the businesses will be occupied by the residents. So if we could gain access to the upper, maybe, but doing a strike is kind of not.
No, when I say strike, I don't necessarily mean violence.
Just because your plan was to scout out the route, I'm going to tell you that's what you know about this area. And if you want to learn more later, you can. You
Nice.
do you do, as you walk around these buildings, because there's no sidewalks there, as you walk around them, you do glean that this area is called the Canyon.
Okay.
So you head further on, and Balsa has told you about Broadwater Bridge. So you get to it, and you find out when you see it that it's unusually low and close to the water in the section that it crosses, and that everything underneath the bridge is cast in shadow,
How
Mhm.
and it
fortunate.
heavily obscures anything underneath from anyone standing on the streets to either side of the canal. So there are many lanes going underneath the bridge, and you see a lot of gondolas, mostly freight gondolas, but also some smaller ones going through. And it's a very it's a very big bridge. It's been expanded a couple times, so there's lots of scaffolding and supports and just a lot of things obstructing the path through it, which creates a bunch of smaller lanes that really only one gondola can go through each lane at a time, and it's impossible to see from one lane into the next. And they're usually you see as you watch, they usually only run one way. So each lane, you can see there's a signal flagger who's at each end to help facilitate which way gondolas can go.
Right. Could I quickly time how long it takes for a gondola to clear the bridge?
Sure. Let's. Can you give me a case the joint roll? So your skill is 80%.
Mhm.
I am going to impose a challenge die just because you have both been on this for a while, so you're feeling antsy and like you need to finish up. So you don't have that much time. So
Okay.
give us an 80% roll with a challenge die. So if you want, that's #R01. Oh, sorry. Hashtag. Sorry.
Ah.
Hash mark sign.
All right. 01. What?
Cool.
There we go.
Right.
Okay, so
good?
well, you succeeded on casing the joint,
Okay.
but you did roll one drawback,
Right. Okay.
and so you're there, and you are a mummer,
Mhm.
and you are watching this bridge, and you're also, as I said, antsy. So a couple of the flaggers thought you were a little suspicious, so you've generated one heat.
Sorry.
You're so heat
right.
generative, Universal.
I'm so hot
So-
right now.
Mm.
What does that equal 0 mean? Does that not mean hold on, I'm going to roll it again just to double check this.
Yeah, it should mean you didn't get any. Why is that doing that? Anyway, we'll go by the pictures.
Okay.
If it has a skull, it's a drawback. If it has a blank, it's a
Right,
blank.
Gotcha.
Okay. Deal.
So you did successfully case the joint, and so let's say it takes about 10 minutes, based on waiting to be flagged into the lane and then going under and getting clear of everyone at the end of the lane that you go through. It takes about 10 minutes from someone arriving at the bridge to being cleared on the other side to continue.
Okay. Interesting.
So if you continue along the route,
which we do.
You discover that at the palace treasury, you see that the palace treasury is located inside the palace grounds, which is within the highly secured perimeter of the extended castle. And attempting to gain access to the gondola or the taxes after they have arrived at the treasury is out of the question. So you gotta get to them before the gondola arrives.
Yeah.
The treasury stores the crown's coins, coin, which is used for expenses directly incurred by the royal family, and also given as gifts to dignitaries and used in trade agreements. But you see the treasury is well protected within the walls of the palace, and you also see that the gondola has another private entrance that it will take into the treasury.
Right. Okay, so
And that's
waiting.
about all the information you can gain from this segment.
Okay.
So, would you like to check out the docks or do the other things that I forgot? Blaze, you said you wanted to do something at the treasury?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of case the treasury, but it seems
Okay.
like that's not a very useful way to spend my time.
Okay.
Could I instead try to figure out the availability of an armored gondola? Could I rent an armored gondola?
Okay. To do that, you might want to tag along with Bautza at the docks.
Okay,
So shall we head on over to the docks?
let's do Bounce.
So Veer, this will
I'll
be
go there too.
Okay, so Veer will lead this scene, and Teddy and Blaze are going along. Are you going Universal?
Sure. I'll juggle.
And I'm
No,
like, this
you-
is the weirdest entourage I've ever had while rolling into the docks.
Well, I mean, this is hard though because we're all conspicuous in certain areas, right? Like, and the conspicuosity
Yes.
generates heat. So,
You know what? I'm gonna spend an influence, my only influence, so we can have this in a nice society-run sort of. Well, we don't really do pubs, as it were, but a nice society-run. Well, actually, a public establishment where all the right people at the docks hang out. Everyone who knows anything worth knowing, that's where they go to kick up their feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I?
So while you talk about that, I am briefly looking up how much heat I'm going to give you. I'm definitely going to give you one additional heat.
No, I'm spending the influence specifically. It's under cartel sheets. So one of the things I
okay.
can spend on is exclusive use of a public establishment for one scene without generating heat. So that's
Beautiful.
what this is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are spending your influence, so you can just drag your key to the table.
What? What?
You're gonna have to click the key above your your avatar, and just like that.
bye.
Cool. My key. Anyway, so I want to. I'm here, and I want to ask questions about. How specific do I have to be in terms of things I want to find out?
Well, so how general? Give me generally what you wanted to know. You wanted to know about hiring.
I want to know if anyone's been hired to go on that route as a gondolier lately, and I want to know where that gondolier is being kept.
Okay. All right. So.
Like, which precise private dock is it?
Okay. So and blah, 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 blah. That's also what you wanted to know, Blaze, about gondola, where one would get an armored gondola.
Yeah, and I also want to. Well, no, yes.
Okay, so you're going to. You are both. All four of you are headed to find out where one might get an armored gondola and possibly if any gondoliers have been hired. So
And we don't necessarily have to
Veer,
be
tell
all
me who you
traveling
look for.
together.
Can I get some leverage on one of the gondoliers?
Not until after you have met.
Maybe once
one.
you've found one.
You can only do leverage on a character that you have already interacted with.
Okay.
I look for my good bud, Mr. Let me pick a last name from this table.
So
Mr. Shin. Mr. Shin, who's kind of like a fixer for jobs, like, you know, if there are postings for new jobs, he's the one who finds out about them. He finds people, like, he's not specifically affiliated with the society, but like if you need a quick job, and maybe if your paperwork's, you know, a little sketchy, or you need some quick cash in exchange for some honest work, that's who you go to talk to.
All right.
I literally just invented this guy out of whole cloth.
So you go and find Mr. Shin.
Mm-hmm.
So what? So he's got connections. What do you ask him about?
I ask him, has anyone been recruiting for the tax route lately? They'll have been like, the recruiters will have been asking for stricter background checks than usual.
All right. So, all right. There's Mr. Shin. There you go.
Hey, bud.
Hey.
So Mr. Shin tells you that he has seen a lot of the freelance gondoliers being approached by official-looking people, and it seems that they're being approached for something pretty important, because a lot of the gondoliers that he personally would not have hired for an important job, he has seen come back and dejected looking.
Huh, interesting. Does he know who didn't? Who came back looking kind of jazzed and then unwisely brought around for everyone with their advance?
Yeah, so there's a handful, we'll say about 4 people that look like they're on the short list for whatever this job is. And and they were all approached within the last week, and they have not taken on any new jobs since they were approached.
Fascinating. I thank him and then I slip him a little jar of ointment for his problem that I know he has.
And who are these for?
He is very appreciative. Did you say something, Teddy?
Yeah, do we have names?
Oh, yes. What names did you get? Each of you come up with a gondolier name.
Don.
Robert Pattinson.
What?
All right. Don and Robert Pattinson are brothers. And 2 more names.
Damn it, I was gonna say Don Gallier, but
That is real good. That's it. That's it. You got it.
Okay, so yeah, Don Gallier and Robert Pattinson, and
Surely you just.
and Shirley, you
It's
just.
Hugh Jass.
Oh, I see. Shirley and Hugh Jass. Okay, so
Yes.
the four potential gondoliers are interestingly 2 sibling duos of Don Gallier and Robert Pattinson, and Shirley and Hugh Jass.
Right.
Hugh Jazz.
Oh, I see. Or that. Yes, they can be 4 different people. Don Gallier, Shirley, Hugh Jest, and Robert Pattinson. So you have determined that there are people that are possibly being hired for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to find out about?
And I want to find out, like, does
Actually,
he
can
know
you
where-
find out
Mhm.
these four people, like which merchants did they work with? Like, were there any regulars?
So
Any
these
regular
are all-
merchants?
These are all freelance gondoliers, so they hang out at the docks and wait to be hired. So there's no one who regularly works with any of these. Because the people who regularly work with certain gondoliers just have them on retainer.
Hmm.
So what I'm going to say, you can continue to investigate these gondoliers, but what I'm going to say is that if you would like to investigate armored gondolas, we can when you're ready to do that, we'll just shift over. We'll be in the same place with all the same people, but we'll be in Blaze's legwork scene.
Right.
Would we be at the docks where we could find these gondoliers?
I'm
I would
going-
end up doing the scene here inside the pub, talking to Mr. Shin.
Okay.
But I mean, you've got your scene coming up, right? Universal did his.
Yep.
Veer just did hers.
Yeah, that's
So you can, like, I guess you can spend your influence to. You can still choose to spend your influence to do the fancy thing. But I ended up changing mine. So maybe I don't know. Is it okay
Yeah,
to
I'm thinking
switch
of
things out?
changing it.
Is it okay to switch what up?
Blood Ted wants to do a different legwork scene, possibly
Sure.
based on the information that we've gathered in our present legwork scenes.
Sure. Y'all, you can. You're all together, so you're all have this information. So when it's time for his legwork scene, he can just replan on the fly.
you all go have fun. I am now obliged to have a couple of rounds with my good buds at this public establishment.
Oh, poor you, taking one for the team.
Right?
Thanks.
It's tough. It's tough.
I'm going to be joining you for a few cups with Mr. Shin, and I'm going to inquire about possible rental of an armored gondola.
Okay. So so this is now Blaze's scene. Are you still here, Universal?
I can
In the
be.
scene?
Maybe I'm playing the lute for
Okay.
people's enjoyment.
So you are playing the lute. So you're in there. Blaze, you are conspicuous in the docks. So because Minerva and Gildenkrantz are around, we will generate a little bit of heat.
All right, c'est la vie.
All right. So
Now I do have a question.
You've asked-
because
yes.
Veer spent the influence on the pub. We are still in the pub.
Well, it's
Um,
only for one scene, so I
it's
guess
for
it
one
was-
scene.
So
We're in a
for one
different
scene.
scene now.
All right,
So
works
I
for me.
guess this is like people finally noticing, like, wait a minute, there's some weird people who just walk by.
Who's that goth boxer?
I mean,
I'll take away one just because.
Oh.
Why not?
I could
Thanks,
imagine
man.
I would often play this pub.
Okay,
I mean, you're just
so
conspicuous wherever you go. That's
You
a
have-
matter of
That's true.
course.
you've asked Mr. Shin about hiring armored gondolas. So he says that there's really one private dock that you would go to for you're looking for really high security stuff, right?
I'm looking for the equivalent of the gondola that we're going to try and snatch away. We're going to do again, my skeleton of a plan is that we are going to make the switch under the bridge, and we're going to switch one armored gondola for another.
Okay, so let's so you looking for an armored gondola, you find out from Mr. Shen that there are plenty of freight gondolas around, and armored gondolas. The high quality ones you can really only get from one private dock, and to an untrained eye, regular freight gondolas and armored gondolas might look pretty similar, but to anyone who knows what they're doing, so that would be either someone who works with armored gondolas a lot or someone who's versed in alchemy, can tell the difference between an alchemically treated armored gondola and a regular freight gondola.
So the gondoliers that are freelance would not be able to tell the difference, but the guards probably would. Is this correct?
I would say that would be fair.
Okay.
I mean, technically thinking about it, if we switch gondolas, if we fire them onto another gondola, it's not like they're not going to know anyway.
No, the idea is that we would rent or steal. Haha, I just figured that idea out. An armored gondola, we would make it in our private, we'd have to have like a private dock. We
Yeah.
would make it look exactly like the same gondola. We'd have to like almost tail them. And then during the flagging, where there's 10 minutes underneath the bridge, that would be when I say, oh, we got to check everybody for the double plague. Oh, God. And just kind of add a little checkpoint for the double plague. I would, bring the entire crew to like an under the bridge spot, and I would
emergency roadblock.
Right. I would shine a light in their eyes and take a look for any spots and ask them to give me we call this a medical history H&M. Damn. I was about to pull out some like doctor shit, but I'm not actually a doctor. I just like
Pretend one.
Yeah, I really like one. That's all.
So I'm going to be a little strict with this and say that if you want to spend influence on quarantining a place, you have to go, because you're spending your influence, so that's your relationship with your cartel, you're going to have to go through official channels. And to do that, it would be, you would be required to have the crown shut down an entire district for a full day, during which no one could enter or leave that district. So an impromptu checkpoint is a little beyond your means through your cartel connections.
Okay.
So maybe at the beginning.
Well, I mean, I don't think that either. We don't want to freeze them in place either way, and they would just delay the shipment if I used this.
You could not spend your influence and instead try to create a set of circumstances where you could shut down a small area for a brief period of time, but that would involve probably doing a lot of fast talking and maybe a lot of people who have some suspiciously double plague symptoms around.
Yeah, it could be responding, fake responding to a fake double plague event, something that would happen.
So I think, like we might want to plant somebody as one of the gondoliers, right? So we might want to I might want to knock out one of the gondoliers at the last moment, because I do have a pair of brass knucks.
Dang.
And then you got like one of you guys go in as the gondolier, and then you have pretend double plague symptoms.
And I will tell you that the dredgers will know, whoever gets hired to
True.
this gondola will be known to the dredgers.
I think we'd have to like take out all the gondoliers, like all four.
Or somehow get some last minute leverage on them that they can't check for.
How would we how would taking them all out?
Well, there's 4 of them and 4 of us.
Yeah, but there's guards.
Yeah, but the guards don't really know the gondoliers.
No, Odd
Yeah,
just said the guards would know the gondoliers.
Oh,
So
sorry, right.
that makes it a strictly harder problem.
Yeah, as
Like,
soon as
yeah.
the depository finalizes hiring the gondoliers, the dredgers will be made aware of their identities and probably introduced to the gondoliers.
Right.
Damn. And now they've already been hired, right? So we can't stop somebody now.
Well, as far as Mr. Shin knows, it's possible the hiring process is still going on because, as you have learned, there will only be 2 gondoliers, but there are 4 who are potentially in the running.
Ah, okay. So they're doing the interview process. Okay. But that would involve taking somebody out right now. And then we would also
Tonight,
have
basically.
to keep them out of anybody's hair for 3 days, which probably means fucking murdering them. You can't knock somebody out for 3 days with brass knucks. That doesn't really scale well.
I have an idea.
I will say, if the gondoliers somehow have a better offer, they might not go ahead with this. But
A
Teddy
better
has an
offer,
idea.
like not being murdered to death.
Yeah, we could bribe them or blackmail them, I suppose.
If Veer can create some kind of poison that like takes effect only after a few, I don't know, like hours maybe.
I have a potpourri of extreme booziness, which will just like bomb their interview prospects.
No, but I'm thinking we should
that
do
idea.
this before, like after. I'll send a letter before they. Actually, we won't know who's the main guy, who's actually driving the
I mean,
main gondolier.
so the thing about this potpourri of extreme booziness is that it's close range and you have to smell it. So if you get someone with a gas mask, grave diggers,
I can send a letter.
packed with this potpourri, and just be like, it's a scratch and sniff.
No, it's a poisoned letter.
Oh, okay.
But
You're
That
saying
also
don't-
works.
that's something he can spend influence on as a
Yeah.
Vesper.
I figured.
But like we don't know. I was thinking maybe we could send it to the main gondolier, and then he'd have to stop, and then Blaze would just be there as sort of by coincidence, and he would check out the gondolier and the guards at the same time, because they would probably think that he's like has the plague or something. The devil plague.
Mm.
There's no way to find out who the main guy is.
So I think what we need to do is follow up with these gondoliers and try to get one of us hired as the freelance gondolier at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
The last.
So I mean, at the last minute, like today, not at the last minute, like at the bridge. So
Yeah.
we can probably meet up with like Robert Pattinson, or Don Gallier, which I think is probably much more likely. Don Gallier is made for it, right? So we meet up with him, intimidate him into letting somebody else take the spot, or bribe him or whatever, into letting, say,
Would that
Universal.
be legwork?
Universal
Yeah,
would
that's
stand
absolutely
out.
like work.
That's not really gathering information.
No, but it's prep work.
It's prep, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that you go out in the city to do is counted as legwork.
Yeah.
Mhm. So we could secure a spot for one of our team as the gondoliers, and then that would basically guarantee I still would have to do like fast talk under the bridge, but it would guarantee compliance by the gondoliers during this little process.
Is there anyone good at convincing people? Because
Yes.
oh, there we go.
I can push my luck to do mental attacks, but apart
Wait,
from
so
that,
but isn't everything prep work towards the main day?
yeah, dude.
Oh, so we
Uh-huh.
have like. Okay, so everything we're gonna do until that day is legwork.
Right, and
So
then so
unless
that's like
some
either.
specific, like we're going in to assassinate someone or we're going in to steal
I mean,
something.
even then,
just
that's
so-
legwork.
Okay.
That's just like
I thought
legwork
this
can be
was.
a drama scene, an abstract scene, or a drama scene. And then a drama scene is combat esque, but like, yeah, legwork is just we're prepping for the heist, dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, point of
The
order, I've got 20 minutes left.
Ooh,
yeah, I've been watching the clock.
we're probably gonna have to split this up.
The counterpoint to legwork is the planning scenes, which kind of is something we're kind of having a planning scene right now.
Yeah.
We had not finished the full set of 4 scenes. What I'm going to do is you wanted to investigate armored gondolas. I don't think I finished saying. Oh no, I did. I told you there was really only one place you could get an actual good armored gondola.
But we could
So
probably do up a freight gondola to make it look like one.
The guards would figure it out.
Yes, you
Oh, right.
could attempt to disguise it, but the guards would probably know the difference. Did you have an idea right now, Richard Valois, of what you want to do next?
I guess we do want to go to Gondola.
Okay.
And I don't know. I guess. If I have more information about this guy, like if he has family or a wife, could threaten.
I mean, this is what we find out during your scene.
But I want to threaten him with something.
So you watch his house for like 2 hours, and then you find out things about him.
Yeah.
You break in so that you can do the dramatic chair spin and be like, "I've been expecting you."
Wait, so how? So we want to replace him?
So you have 2 options basically. You could spend your legwork scene getting dirt on him, or you could try to bypass that and just spend your legwork scene going in and immediately trying to take him out of the equation. You would be less prepared, but you could try that. And again, this would be one of the 4 gondoliers.
But so how are we gonna replace him if he's already been at like an interview or something?
The interview process is ongoing, so
yeah, but they've already seen him.
The interviewers have seen him. The guards have not. That's the important part. Is that the guards and the dredgers, the detective agency, the security group is not familiar with these people as of yet. So this is like the time that we could do this.
And also, if somehow all 4 gondoliers were incapacitated or unable to work, then the interview process would need to go on with new people.
That would be us, but again, then there's the problem of us being.
You could try to get dirt and then try to blackmail the gondoliers to work for you.
Certainly possible. Give them a percentage.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are freelance. They're trying to feed their families or their addictions, whichever one. So certainly I would say bribery would be a strong candidate for ways to influence these people. We could actually just bribe him to like go along with the check to say, oh, I heard there's double plague. So we might have to do something.
Spread the double plague rumor.
Yeah. And then like that person would be guaranteed to comply with the flagging, the impromptu flagging that we would do under the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could just do this without actually replacing them, and that would give the rest of our team spots to handle the other stuff that's going on. We would have to, for example, have somebody else pilot the duplicate clone gondola,
Hmm.
and then we'd have to do some kind of fast talking replacement. So
I guess my main question is, if you have this duplicate gondola,
mhm.
you're swapping your gondola in for the armored one.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to get the the money from one to the other
No,
without the
no.
guards knowing.
No, sir. We would make an exact duplicate, and then once we get the entire crew, all 4 of the gondola guys and all 2 of the guards, 2 gondolas, 4
Four
guards,
Yes.
guards, 2 gondoliers.
4 guards, 2
Yeah.
gondoliers. So we would get that entire crew off of the ship for the double plague inspection, and then we would put our duplicate group onto the good ship with the money, and then we put the guards and the gondola folks, the officials, onto the duplicate gondola.
Okay.
So it's a closely timed thing, but basically they just get onto an empty gondola and take that, and it will arrive with the official people, and nobody will be the wiser, and that's why it's a slick caper. So we're not actually moving anything or doing any heavy logistics. We're just getting the people switched between
So
the ships.
What if we? I
the
mean,
thing you would have to take into account there, obviously you could have some sort of distraction, but the flaggers only allow 1 gondola in each lane at a time. So to do a switch inside a lane, you would somehow have to engineer getting your gondola in there and then not
Right.
coming out, but having the flaggers flag the right gondola into your lane.
if we could get them out of their gondola for this double plague check, let's say we don't just get them back onto the gondola.
After we take all the money?
Well, no, we take over the gondola. We like gas them or whatever
But
and throw them back onto the gondola, and then we can just keep them under, and whenever we go wherever we're going, we can just throw them out in the street.
I mean, so this would be during the flagging operation. And so what we would have to do is all be available under the bridge along with the flaggers, and convince the flaggers to look the other way while we're doing a plague check, and then gas them all, carry the bodies onto the gondola in front of the flaggers.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to put them onto the fake gondola anyway, and this feels like it's just removing a step.
Well, yes.
can we
But
instead,
we
like,
can't really use, like, the thing that Odd just said is basically that unless we infiltrate the flaggers, we cannot use a fake gondola, is basically how that
Correct.
worked out.
Yeah.
So now it's a question of, do we want to try to take over the flaggers and
Can we
try and
as-
make all that work?
as part of the medical check, can we poison everyone?
Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm
And
I
then
will
just
also
take over the right gondola.
something that you might want to keep in mind is that this is probably one of the highest security operations that happens on a regular basis.
Yep.
So it is very likely that the 4 dredgers on the gondola are not going to be the only dredgers who exist as part of the equation.
Mhm.
So if suddenly a gondola appeared on the other side of the Broadwater Bridge with no dredgers on it anymore, then that would be suspicious, most likely.
But can't we just have our own, like, normal gondola? Then what? Can't
How
we just
would we
transfer
get the money off?
money off? Yeah, can we? Is it like heavy?
You would have to do some legwork to find that out.
Hmm.
Is there paper money in this world, or is it gold? Or
There is paper money. Well, there's paper in this world, so it's not. It wouldn't be like legal
Promissory
tender,
notes,
but it
kind
would be
of?
promissory notes and things like that.
Promissory notes wouldn't be worth anything, so we'd need hard cash. Because promissory notes would be promised to the king, right? And so not
Yes.
useful for us. So
We
what
could disguise ourselves as the king.
So
Bro,
remember,
what are you trying to
Teresa
do?
is a 12-year-old girl.
The leader of the city's 12.
So what we need to do is probably infiltrate the flagging operation, get them to flag in the two. I would do a medical check right there, flag in the two gondolas at the same time, get the guard onto it. So the flagging operation is definitely where we need to go next, without
Mhm.
question, to me. As long as we are going with any kind of like switcheroo plan, alternately, like I guess we could just gas everybody in the boat and then get on a high-speed chase away from the other dredgers that are not on the boat that would be checking everything out. But to me, the slickest move is still the switcheroo. Just it clearly involves now infiltrating the flaggers, getting them to break protocol, and perhaps having a gondolier on the inside who would be okay with this break of protocol and continue to soothe everyone about like, oh yeah, everybody, we do need to go into the check. So either we check in on the gondoliers and we continue pressing them so that they influence the success of this, or we ignore the gondoliers and instead move our attention to the flaggers and just try and do like a quick, fast maneuver right there.
Let's find out how heavy this money is. Because if we could just get our own gondolier, and then during the medical check transfer all the money to our gondolier, then just...
We would need to have a flagger in our pocket regardless for that, because you still would have to have two gondolas, same place, same time, which violates protocol.
All right. So what I'm going to say is, right now we've been talking for a while. We have done 3 legwork scenes on the daytime of the first day. I am designating this discussion we've been having as the planning scene at the end of the first day. So I will, when we finish this plan, I'm going to let Teddy lead a legwork scene that will have happened on the first day, and then we'll call the session there. And resume on another day. And so after Teddy's legwork scene, there will be 2 days of 2 segments each, during which you can do additional recon, additional setup work, or additional planning, and then the final segment where you attempt the job. I will recommend that you have your ideas about the infiltrating the flaggers and doing things with the gondoliers and setting other things in motion. I will recommend that Teddy's legwork scene right now be devoted to additional recon.
Cool. So, I mean, do we find out more about the dredgers?
That sounds like a good idea to me.
Could infiltrate their base like we planned to. And try and find out more about them that way.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll go with you, and
Seems reasonable.
I'll set up a...
Can I create a
sort of-
disguise for him? Just like not have a clown. Walking.
What? Why don't you want the clown? I actually do have an ability called Create a Disguise.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah.
So, is Gildenkrantz and Richard the only people going to go investigate the dredgers?
Do you guys need somebody to knock anybody out? Just
And remember, you can always spend 20 luck to enter a scene that you did not start out in.
I just want everyone to know that in my head canon, the reason why you got to spend 20 luck is because you need to find a vulnerable section of wall that you can bust through, like the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah.
It is like thematically, it is you were lucky enough to be around the corner when you were needed.
Right.
I could
Um,
actually receive an introduction to a merchant or noble in a way that doesn't arouse suspicion. The leader of the what are they
So
called?
the dredgers would not be merchants or nobles.
Would their leader be?
You would have to investigate them to find that out.
yeah. I think we're just gonna have to like set up shop outside and
Juggle.
find out. And I can juggle, yeah.
So is it going to be Richard and Gildenkrantz going on to the dredger agency?
Well,
Yeah.
theoretically, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Richard and Gildenkrantz head to the dredger agency. They ask around and find out where it is. Oh, I've been lax. Y'all have
So
less
can I
heat
create
than
a
you should, but that's
disguise?
fine. When once we're in the scene, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some heat because of Gildenkrantz's existence in this
What?
scene. So 1 second.
No, I'm just on the street here at the minute.
Okay, so at the beginning of the scene, you can both roll to create a disguise.
Okay.
What's your?
So I'm not going to
I mean, I
give
have
any
chameleon,
advantage
so
or
I
challenge.
can.
Chameleon is during a planning scene, and we're
Hmm.
technically treating this legwork scene as taking place before the planning scene we just had. Because
Okay.
the planning scene we just had was the nighttime. We're doing a flashback to the daytime.
What am I
So,
rolling?
both of you just roll a D100, and Gildenkrantz, you're trying to get underneath.
Bam.
You're both trying to get underneath 65.
Right. Well.
So you succeeded,
Oh.
and you did not succeed.
What?
So universal. So 1 is a success on this.
Oh, 0 is a
0
hun.
is not a
No.
success.
Huh?
Universal, you can push your luck twice, which would add two
Yeah, I
challenge
think I'm
dice
gonna have
to
to.
it.
How
Okay,
does it roll
so
a
reduce your
0?
luck.
I think that's 100
Reduce your-
I rolled, technically.
It's if you hover over it, Universal rolled an 80, and
Oh, huh?
Teddy, you rolled a 45.
What?
Uh,
Where does it say 1 and 0?
So the formula for this is roll a d100 to try to get under a specific value.
Oh, so it's
one
binary?
one is a success. And yes,
Okay,
it's binary.
okay.
1 is a success.
Right.
0 is a. So
Okay.
to see the actual value, you have to hover over. So Universal, you're going to push your luck twice.
Yep.
So I'm going to want you to roll. Can you see if you go to the macros? Can you see the rollable tables all the way at the bottom?
Yep, advantage.
Okay, just roll to challenge. Okay, so that was 2 disadvantage.
Oh.
So I am. I'm gonna think about that for just a second. You both have now successfully created a disguise. So you're gonna enter the area that the dredgers take up shop. And what are you going to investigate? How do you go about this?
So are we inside? Are we inside?
If you would like to go inside the agency, you can do that.
I take it you're thinking of like posing as someone who might want to employ the services of the agency or something like that?
Yeah,
Is
but
that-
we would like. What? Can we just ask for a tour of the agency?
I mean, if you want to do that, you can.
But if they refuse, then that's pretty much blown our cover for if you want to do anything else. Is there a way? Do we see
Well, it's
any
not
entrances
necessary.
that aren't legal?
What'd you ask?
Any like, is there a window or?
I mean,
if
you
we're-
both created disguises. I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna try to just
Yeah, but
walk
like
around
if
here.
yeah, but this is, I think the disguise will still help in case someone glances us while he's walking down a corridor or something like that.
Okay.
Because if somebody glances a clown, that's pretty much it.
Well, remember, you're in disguise.
Yeah. So is there a way to infiltrate this stealthily?
I'm just gonna take some heat for those drawbacks that you rolled. I mean, you could infiltrate stealthily, but then you just look like a normal person who's wandering about in this detective agency.
Can I not
So
look
you're-
like one of the guards?
You could say that your disguises were Dredger disguises, but most of them would presumably know each other.
Yeah, but
So-
like from like somewhere far away, they wouldn't see if they knew us or not.
So,
from maybe it's
okay,
just
so
rats.
what are you trying to accomplish right now?
I
What is
don't
your-
know. We're trying to find out information or something, right?
You're trying to find out information about the Dredgers.
Yeah.
Whatever
right?
we can.
And the
yes.
job. Yes. So there are different ways you could go about this. You could ask someone outright. You could ask someone who knows about the Dredgers. You could try to break into a backroom filing cabinet and see if you can find something.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. So you said you want to sneak in?
Yeah. Can Universal help me with this? I don't think I'm
Well,
very great at
Universal
sneaking.
Universal can get into a building,
Mhm.
but he can't take you with him.
So maybe I can.
And also, once he's in the building, there is a chance he gets caught.
What do you mean? Is this like an ability? or
Yes,
something?
he can get into any building unseen,
I've
but
got-
once he's inside, he automatically succeeds in getting in. But once he's inside, he might be detected.
I've got a trait called second story work, which allows me to like climb up and get in,
Hmm.
maybe to the offices or something like that.
I guess I could roll for anything and see if I succeed.
Sure.
Maybe.
Okay, so shall we say Universal?
Mhm.
You get in, and you're waiting for Richard to join you. So
Right.
yeah, it looks like rolling in anything else will be best.
Right. So, do you definitely want me to go in? Is the question.
Yes, because
Yeah,
you're the
okay.
sneaky guy.
Okay, I
I'm
have
the
sneaked
talky
in
guy.
through the top one windows, and maybe I could like lower a rope.
Advantage? Maybe?
Sure. So you lower a rope. So when someone helps somebody else, you get 2 advantage. So Teddy, roll anything else with 2 advantage. And so if you want, you can just do hashtag R20.
Okay.
And we're looking for a number 50 or below. So that is not below 50.
No.
You got one boon. So you can, if you want, push your luck 3 times, which would force you to roll 3 challenge dice. And you would succeed.
Does this boon mean anything? Like,
Well, if you roll 3 challenge dice and any of them come up drawbacks, then the boon would cancel out. If you don't do that, then you will have failed to climb up the rope, but you will have a good side effect anyway. So basically, you could try to go back into a door, and while Universal is rummaging around upstairs, you could try to join him through another entrance. if you didn't push your luck, or you could push your luck to try to get up there.
I think I'm gonna push my luck. How do I do that?
Okay, so
Do I roll
you're
again?
gonna you can roll again, and we'll just discount any percentile numbers. So if you do hashtag R03, we'll just look at any drawbacks from that. Okay, so you got one drawback, so that cancels out with the one boon. So you are in the building. Your luck is now 70 because you spent 30 to push your luck just then.
Okay.
So you are both in a back room,
Nice.
and you find the correct room to be in, and it looks like there's a lot of paperwork, and it seems to be in some sort of weird filing system that you don't understand. What do you do?
Let's see. Do I have anything? Probably don't. Appraise something, that means value, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could forge
You
a
could-
document with this.
Yes.
Does anyone
So
have ideas?
So you could try casing the joint, and I would say if you succeed on that, Universal, then then you can find it.
Okay.
I
roll that.
am because you're sneaking around and trying to do it silently. I'm
Yep.
going to give you one disadvantage on it.
So that's.
Sorry, Teddy, or I assume you're helping him look around.
Yeah, obviously.
So you're going to get 2 advantage for that. So R21.
Okay. Bowls.
No, that's a success.
Oh, it is.
You got a drawback, but you succeeded on casing the joint.
Okay.
So you rummage around and find a folder that, again, you don't understand the filing system, so you don't understand the code name of the operation. But you open up the folder, and a quick glance through shows you that it is talking about the transfer of an amount of funds, and the date matches up with the date of the expected transfer. And you see a lot of information about it. But while you were finding this, you did put back a few things in the wrong place. So you're going to generate some heat from that because you have left evidence of your existence behind.
Just what
Well-
does this thing say?
So you're going to read it.
Well.
The file has information about the. Hold on, I need a sip of water.
It's a common hazard for the GM or judge, as it is.
Okay, so you are reading this file, and it lines out the date, which confirms what Yellowtooth Cyrus told you. The fact that they will be hiring an armored gondola, the fact that they will be hiring 2 gondoliers, and the personnel attached to this job will be, as you knew, 4 armed guards who are part of the dredgers stationed on the deck of the gondola. There will also be the dredgers will also be assisting the depository with the vetting of the gondoliers. So they will be involved in that process doing the background checks. They won't necessarily be doing the interview process, but they're going to do the background checks. There will also be 6 armed dredgers who will be walking along the side of the canals, following the gondola along its entire path. Lord Arthur Bourneworth, who is the Crown's security representative, will walk along the path with those 6 guards. And the Grackenwald Depository is paying around 24 unarmed lookouts to watch the gondola during the transfer. They will be stationed every few blocks on rooftops, and they are positioned so that the gondola will always be in the line of sight of at least one lookout, usually 2 or more. Each one has a spyglass with which they can observe the gondola and a horn that they will blow if they detect any discrepancy during the transfer to alert the dredgers that something is wrong. And I believe, Richard, you know about nobles? So
Yeah.
as Universal's reading this out, Gildenkrantz is reading this out, and when you hear the name Arthur Bourneworth, you recognize his name. You know that he was, until recently, a member of the Palace Guard. He is nobility, although he and his family are almost completely unknown to high society for some reason. You also know that his wife, Elia, was a well-regarded instructor at the Archduke's College of Dunhaven, where she taught law, and she retired within the past 2 years. So he will be in charge of he will be leading the 6 dredgers who walk along the route. There are also the 4 dredgers on the cabin. There are also the 24 or so lookouts that will always have the gondola in sight in places where obviously it can be seen.
Yes.
Okay, the snowball. It's an
So,
opening.
so that is what you have obtained from this legwork scene. Right now, I'm going to spend some heat.
Oh snap! Second
No, not
before,
the crusher blow.
I mean, before things happen, point of clarification, if you will, Your Honor. Now, when you say they're going to be looking everywhere that can be seen, are you excluding under the bridge?
That is what I was hinting at.
Aha.
Because we established that underneath, that in the lanes, you cannot see anything from the sides of the canals, and you can also not see from one lane to another.
Very good. Merci beaucoup.
So, I have spent 4 heat. You have been, you're in the Dredger Detective Agency. They conduct business all throughout the day.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that some of that business requires them going to the file room.
No.
So suddenly, 4 dredgers enter the room. And they see you there. You are not obviously dressed in noble robes and in clown motley. You are wearing your disguises, but you are still people that they do not recognize.
Are we still holding the document?
So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go into a drama scene. The way those work is dredgers will my character will act first, and then the 2 of you will act in whatever order you want. Blaze, I'm going to go ahead and remind you now that you're not in this scene right now.
Naturally.
But if
I
you
can expend
were,
luck.
yes, you can. But if you were in this scene, you have an ability that lets you take a turn before I do at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that ever comes up, we will have to remember that. So the dredgers enter. I am going to allow either of you, presumably Universal, since I assume you were still holding it and reading it, you can roll to conceal an object. And I'm going to give you 1 challenge die because you are doing it swiftly. So you're going to try to get under 65 to conceal these documents that you're holding.
I don't want to put them back, though.
Well, we've got the information from them.
I mean, these.
Yeah, but what if they like see that someone has stolen them?
Okay, so
Well-
I'm sorry. Gildenkrantz is holding the documents.
Yeah.
The doorknob starts to turn. It's up to you if you try to put it back in the cabinet or try to hide it on your person.
Here's my sort of natural instinct. put my hand back towards the cabinet, grab a whole bunch of files, and throw the files at them as they come through the door, creating a big blizzard of paper.
Okay. So I was gonna let you try to hide it before they acted.
Well, this
I
all
think-
depends. This all
I mean, that's
depends
hiding
on
it in
how-
plain sight.
Yeah.
Yes, but sorry, I was gonna let you hide it before they acted because you were reacting to them coming in.
Right.
I
Well,
think
if
I will let you do this,
Okay.
but it's going to be.
Throw something.
It's well, I was looking at distract someone. So what I'm gonna do is let you roll to distract someone, and I'm going to give you because there are 4 of them. I'm going to give you 2 challenge dice as you roll to distract them.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay. So you can push your luck once if you like to succeed on the distraction.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Okay. So roll an additional challenge die.
Right. How do I roll the challenge dice on its
It's
own?
on the table. I think you can also do.
Right. Oh yeah, of course.
there's a-
roll.
Okay, so you your luck is now at 70, if I'm tracking correctly. You have one drawback. So as you do this, you throw the folders, including the one that has the information that you were trying to find.
We've
You
read it.
throw
It's
these
fine.
folders. you throw the folders at the dredgers who enter the room, and there's a massive flurry of papers, and one of the dredgers gets bonked right on the nose with a folder, and he gets a wicked paper cut from it.
Yeah, those things are sharp.
And he's used to punches and sword slashes and crossbow bolts, but you know how paper cuts are.
Oh yeah.
This one is right on the bridge of his nose, and he runs back out of the room to try to get some attention on this. So there are only 3 dredgers. While you have thrown these papers, I'll get back to you on what that drawback does. So you've thrown these papers. One of the dredgers has left. I am going to have. We have 3 dredgers, so they are going to try to restrain the 2 of you. They were probably just going to question you, but right now you have attacked them. So
Well, it's just paper.
one of the dredgers blocks the door.
It was the wind.
One of the dredgers blocks the door and draws his sword, and the other dredger, the other 2 dredgers, step forward to try to restrain you, and I'm going to roll for them.
Can I have a quick question?
Yes.
If everybody but me gets arrested, do I win?
You have to
No.
get beer arrested
Well,
there.
it depends. If you succeed on the job and everyone else is
By
arrested,
yourself.
maybe.
All right, me and Veer.
But you are trying to work with your crew.
Yeah, it's me and Veer. Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
Okay.
I see how this
So-
is going down. So
So I'm going to tell you that there was only one possible roll that the dredgers could have made that was worse than the one they did. So as they step forward to try to restrain you, they slip and slide on some of the folders and have to take a second to catch their balance. So Richard and Gildenkrantz, the 2 of you may act, and in whichever order you choose.
Out the window.
Yes. how it's close, right? We can
Okay,
totally
so
do it.
that would be a climb, jump, and tumble roll. Which for Gildenkrantz, you have an 80% chance of doing that, and Richard, that would be 50 again for you.
How close is the door actually?
And so the door is, again, there are 3 dredgers between you and the door, but it's a few feet.
I can run like hell.
Okay,
That's an
so
action. I'll be running into this thing.
Run like hell out the
so
window.
so Gildenkrantz very nimbly gets out the door. I'm sorry, out the window, and is unscaling the building. While Richard leaps forward, and you're trying to push past these dredgers. I'm not gonna let you run like hell yet. If
I think
you
I'll go
wanna
through
get,
the window because we're on like the roof or something.
Well, we're on the upper floor.
you're on a higher floor.
Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna go down all the floors and just run through the the main entrance. I think I'll go jump as well.
Okay, so that would be a 50% chance of success. Okay, so
That's a fail.
you
You can push your luck a little bit more because if it comes down to it, right? I've got the inspiration. What's the key?
what? Do you? You don't have
Influence.
No,
the
influence.
influence. Sorry, the key.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
influence.
Yes,
Yes.
the influence. I can use my influence to have you guys checked out by a doctor. So, and I feel like that would restore luck. Does that sound correct, Odd?
That would make sense to me. You have.
I often use my leisure time to go to doctors and get myself checked out.
Yes, you could. Yes, you. So either one of them could blow off steam, or you could send one of them to the doctor. So
okay, yeah.
I'll use.
you
my
have
luck.
you have. You're going to push your luck. Okay,
Yeah.
so that would be. You would have to push it 3 times. So that would be 3 challenge dice.
Push it
So
real
it's
good.
#R.
Yeah, you can do #R03, and we'll just
Yes.
ignore the percentile roll on that. Okay, no drawbacks. You do have a poorly skinned knee now, but you have gotten outside, and the dredgers, the 3 that remain in the room. What? That was 30, so you should be at 40 right now. So the dredgers will attempt to follow you out the window. And
Can they climb?
these dredgers, this is not instilling much confidence in you that the dredgers were the best agency for the crown to rely on, because they all stumble over themselves as they try to get to the window.
They're the Keystone Cops.
Yeah. So they're stumbling over themselves to try to get to the window, but they have reached the window at least, and they are shouting out to try to get some of their friends who are downstairs, get their attention. So will you run like hell?
RLH. Yep. And
All right, so you can both run like hell, and I
don't think I have that in my sheet, but it doesn't matter.
you both do. You're both at 65 for that.
Can I actually? So they're screaming all the way downstairs.
Well, they're leaning out the window and screaming to their friends who are down on the street.
Am I
Oh, sorry, there is no 0-0 because that's just
Okay.
just a regular roll. I guess I could put one in, but
right. Well, I'll just.
you can just roll a D100 or roll from your sheet.
Can you see if I could?
No.
Okay, so that is not a success. You could push your luck
4.
3 times.
Okay, 3 times it will be then.
That would be 3 challenge dice.
Here. Poor me. Oh, I keep forgetting where this is. Over.
Okay. So
Okay,
as you run away, it was very hard for you because the dredgers were yelling and their friends were there. And as you pushed past, one of them got a pretty vague. Probably wouldn't be able to necessarily describe you perfectly to someone else, but got a vague look at you and knows about your build and general features. So we're gonna get a little more heat for that.
Okay.
So Teddy, what are you doing?
So you can hear what they're saying upstairs. Like it's
Yeah, the dredgers who are upstairs are yelling at, "Hey, stop them! Don't let them get away!"
I was like thinking maybe I could yell, "There's a fire upstairs," and then they would just all go upstairs.
Okay, so that would be convince someone.
When we like
and
someone.
I would. I mean, it is a lie.
I think
But
convincing would
I would
be
say
like
that
convincing them to do some. I mean, it wouldn't be lying, right?
Here's the thing. I will let you either lie to them with 4 challenge dice or convince them with 2.
What does challenge dice do? Does it like set the setbacks and stuff?
Yes.
I do need only to get like a 91 to lie to someone.
You would need to get a 91 or higher to fail lying to someone. Yeah. So the reason is because you're they're probably not going to believe you because they can see their friends.
4 challenge dice.
Okay.
No, that's too much. I'm gonna run like hell. I did it.
Okay. So you run like hell, and you got a 56. Yeah, so you run like hell, and you beat it from the scene, leaving these very confused dredgers in your wake, and they have a brief description of Gildenkrantz, and they know that something has been discovered. They know that someone was riffling through their papers, but you did throw all of them, so they don't necessarily know what precisely information you have gained, or even if you gained the information you were looking for. So they will be a little more alert. There has been a confirmed break-in at their place.
Okay.
So that will be the end of the scene, and that will be the end of the session, unless anyone has questions.
I do. I have a point of clarification, Your Honor. Is it pronounced riffling or rifling?
So as I was saying it, I was wondering.
I've always said rifling, but
yeah,
I don't know if I'm right.
Are there 2 Fs?
There's 1 F.
Okay, well then yes, rifling.
Rifling is how I've pronounced it, but listen, riffling sounds real cute. So
they are. Someone has been rippling through the papers.
it's riffled for her pleasure.
Hey.
I guess it's because there's a riffle shuffle is a thing. So
What about the ruffle shuffle?
I think the truffle shuffle is a real thing.
So just to cap up, we have learned about some gondoliers. We've learned about gondolas. We've learned about the route. We've learned more about the dredgers. We've learned the name of Arthur Bourneworth, and that he will be basically in charge of the security on the day. We have 4 more daytime and nighttime segments before we have to pull off the job. The 5th one will have to be spent on pulling off the job. And we have a couple characters who are very reduced on their luck and might at some point in the future need to recuperate.
Yeah.
And does anyone have any input or feedback?
Let me add that our next steps are going to be centered around the flaggers and kind of getting a if we still want to do this duplicate thing.
I still don't know what our actual plan is.
Well, we've got sort of a vague plan, but
We've got the skeleton, and the point is that now we have to refine that plan and make sure that we get the details right.
Yeah.
So the plan is, for now at least, still to have a duplicate gondola, but which is going to require having the flaggers pull in 2 gondolas in the same lane, one of which is basically a duplicate of the other. Get the whole crew off the boat, get them onto the wrong gondola, we take the right gondola, and go home. Ocean's 11. Canal 11.
Gondola in
Alright.
60 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's the name of this one. That's the name of this session. Gondola in 60. I'm adding this to... Oh, it's
So we
fucking
want to take
good,
over
University.
one of the gondolas. That would be on the same lane.
I think the idea was to put a gondola in that lane.
Yeah, but wouldn't it also be manned by?
Well, I
Guards and
believe the
stuff.
idea was for either to hire some people to drive that gondola, or to have
One of our
a
crew.
couple of you pulling it yourselves. So remember, you are able to obtain help from people who are not the 4 of you. So you have met Mr. Shen. You do have now a connection with someone who knows about the docks. So you could hire, you could try to hire gondoliers or flaggers or peasants. It is not restricted to just the 4 of you pulling off this job.
Okay.
Cool. I think we have learned everything we need to. Let's go ahead and end the recording. I need to get back to work. I like this a lot, by the way,
Yeah.
just to give you a little bit of feedback.
Awesome.
I think that heists are like always kind of, I'm big on heists and mysteries as far as RPGs go. That's kind of like that's where I get all my satisfaction. So I'm digging this. I like that there is so much emphasis on the prep work and on uncovering things. This is an interesting ass game.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking the
And it's
setting.
making me, it's like kind of making me reconsider how I want to play D&D in a lot of ways. Like just maybe have some emphasis on prep instead of like just going in guns a-blazing like doofuses every time, which is fun in its own way. But
Yeah.
this is kind of making me reconsider what RPGs are good for. And I
Brian
think
and
that
crew just spend 4 days prepping them before they do anything.
Can't have you acting sensibly now.
well, I mean, it just kind of like has made me. It has done what the introduction of a new game should do, which is made me reconsider the purpose and scope of these games in total.
Yeah.
Would
And I think, so that's useful.
would y'all like for me to pull back the curtain on how heat works a little bit?
It sounds like basically you're just expending heat to add complications.
Yes. So I can spend heat in three tiers. I can spend 4 heat, 12 heat, or 20 heat. And they're basically minor complications, like the 4 heat I spent to add the dredgers, or major complications, which would be a more formidable obstacle. And 20 heat is for plot twists, which are major changes in the story.
Okay. I suppose the only thing I'm wondering about the heat, and it's not even something that I necessarily want answered, is, is the amount of heat we've generated good or bad? And
So
don't necessarily answer that because, like, kind of just want to find out.
I don't. I'm figuring out the heat as well. I think that right now I have probably assigned maybe as many as 4 or 5 heat fewer than I should have by the strict rules, just because of forgetting things and doing the wrong values at a few times. The general idea is you should probably spend at least 4 heat every segment, and possibly a couple times per segment.
Right.
And the basic, the reason they're priced at the tiers they are is because the average group size, average play group size is 4 player characters, which, since each player character generates 1 heat at the start of a segment, that is a reliable 4 heat per segment. So during each daytime or during each nighttime, you could expect to spend at least a minor complication.
Okay.
But since you generate heat in other ways, like rolling drawbacks at times or being conspicuous and leaving evidence, there will be more than that, which allows me to buy major complications and plot twists.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. I feel like we're doing fairly good. I think the only thing that really got complicated was when you guys got disguised and then just didn't use the disguises at all.
That was interesting.
Well,
I don't know.
mean,
Like
I
I was in the other room. And I was
they
like,
didn't
what
find out
the
who
fuck
they
are these
don't
guys doing?
they don't
I
know
think,
who
I mean, they did.
we
Yeah, they
specifically
did have an
are.
advantage.
Yes, they
in
don't
the
they don't
end.
know. They didn't find out how we look exactly.
Yes, and I also I did
Like, at least
I-
they don't
because
know
of
that we
those-
have a clown.
because of those disguises, I did not give the extra heat that Gildenkrantz would have generated at the beginning of that scene.
Mm.
So I did do that.
Hmm.
I thought you were gonna go in the front door, and then
Yeah, that's what
Well, I mean,
disguises are for usually.
I don't know how we would have like gone from the front door to the back room.
You could have just hit up the company water cooler. What I would have done, I was in the other room listening. What I would have done is gone ahead, done a disguise, hit up the company water cooler, and just tried to eavesdrop and listen to as much as I could about their upcoming operations.
But how
Because
would I enter?
and also remember,
They have, like,
through the
they-
front door, it's a disguise.
Teddy?
You're disguised.
Yeah, but they
Ted.
know
You're-
how the workers look like.
Teddy, you are a grifter, which means your skills are built around
Yeah, no.
social engineering and lying to people.
But I thought that because they all knew each other, it'd be
Well, you could have
Much
been
harder.
like
You
Yeah.
could have
a
disguised
prospective
yourselves as
client or-
plumbers
Yeah.
who needed to get in and fix something mechanical.
Fix the
Hmm.
plums.
All the plums. I hear you got a problem with your pipes.
Hmm.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Oh dear.
All right, well, cool. I'm going to do a brief typing up recap so that you all, as well as Veer, can read it. And we will find a time for the next session.
Bangarang. Thanks for running this, Odd.
Yeah.
I thank you for being part of it.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
All right. Cool, man. See you guys later.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay, yay.